Yeah, because because I'm an awful streamer, if I try to do this off my one monitor, it breaks everything.
Beautiful.
Oh yeah.
As it do be like that sometimes,
It do be that
That
sometimes, particularly like when you're trying to get somebody who wants to show off the fact that they're in Hawaii. Like it gets difficult, especially when you have no idea what the fuck you're doing. All right, so copy that link on my phone. At everyone, do I really want to ping so many people? Yes, I do.
Do
We
I
are
get this
live
ping?
with yet to be named. The officially named.
Is my connection fine? I just lost your video for a second. Oh, there we are.
Yep, I think you're fine. I can't tab and see.
Did I lose you guys? Oh,
Nope,
okay.
No,
nope,
you're good.
we're here. Okay.
You guys were both just frozen in the same position, like just still in the same position.
Yeah, you lagged a bit there.
What's up?
You lagged a bit there, but it's okay.
Oh. Oop.
Some lag is acceptable.
Some lag is absolutely acceptable. So, just because we have no time...
I'm just glad I'm not playing King. You know?
Right. Since we have no time, right? Let's get started. So we are with Division 1 here. We've got some wonderful teams going on. And do we have any changes near the bottom here? I remember that we had Pot of Dolphins down here. We had my brain is dying at the moment.
Corvus Storm, I believe.
Corvus Storm down here. Clownfish 9 was near the top. We were using Oasis Fire as kind of a benchmark for this division, and I know a lot of things kinda went crazy last week.
Yeah.
Yep.
So in Division 1, a lot of things changed for me, actually.
Okay.
I literally moved, like... I kept Corvus Storm at the bottom, and I moved Oasis Fire and, Agni Kai down.
Okay.
A good ways. And I put Pod over them, and then I put Monkeys Rising above them.
So start at number 10.
Pod over Agni Kai. Didn't Agni Kai 2-0 Pod?
Yeah, but Pod is looking better than Agni Kai right now. I think Pod is stronger than them now. Like that was week 1. This is
tribute last week to an off week rather than a display that they're actually weak.
Yeah, because they look like they're growing as a team faster than Agni Kai is.
I gotcha. So just so I have something to put up here and make things pretty, give me a number and give me a spot.
Pod 6th.
Pod 6. Okay.
You won't like this Imperial 7th.
I mean, given the way the way that they're playing, like I love them, right? Like they're wonderful people, right? Like Sybil is the cutest person, but I can't keep fighting for it at this point. You know what I mean?
Okay, but
last week
they beat the two teams that they're gonna beat one other team, I think, and it's the team that they should beat based off my rankings. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I think that last week was a good step for them in the right direction. I think that they have Ratsu's called it the too many cooks issue, and I like that verbiage. I think that they are a team that has the tools to be very good, and they showed us that last week. And I think, as much as I can't ignore the fact that they severely underperformed prior, my mind is telling me that like what we saw last week is more on par with what we're going to see in the future. Like literal, like just complete stomps. And also their losses were way less stompy. Like their losses to Pod were barely losses. When
Right.
you know what I mean? Like that was the big surprise, right, for this Division 1 the whole season, I think, was that like Pod takes down IG. IG won the early game. Every single game. Right?
Right.
And I think that like their losses came from them not being able to play on the same page. And I think last week when we saw them on the same page, they looked so good. And I can't in good conscience put them on 7. I think
I'm
they're
just
4 for me.
I want to see how the rest of this pans out because 7, I don't know, but because I'm with you, right? But I've also been burned. I've been the Imperial Gaming shill this entire season so far.
For other division, I think that's valid. For this division, I think that the team is just too many cooks, and they can't like.
Well, okay.
I think that last week was really good,
so
but I also think that it's hard to say.
As a person on a too many cooks team in IBS, right? As somebody who like has struggled with that kind of thing, it's not the worst thing to fix. You know what I mean? It's a lot easier to fix than a lot of people. Some people just have to stop being executive chefs and start being sous chefs, right? Like it's something that can be done, and especially when you have a week like this, it gets a heck of a lot easier to go, well, we listened to this person, so let's continue to do it that way.
They've got to pick if they're listening to Mario Batali or Gordon Ramsay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Given the legal status of those two people at the moment, I know which one I'd like to listen to.
Yeah, I just like consistency, right? Like I like it being like consistent and like normal, and I haven't seen that from them. Like they look really good, then they look really bad, then they look really good. It's like okay, like which burger am I flipping today? Like I have no clue.
Did you not argue that about every single team in Division 1?
Yeah.
No. I can't argue that about every single team in Division 1, actually. I think Monkeys Rising has been very consistent in how they perform.
I mean, that's true.
You think that Monkeys Rising has been very consistent? Getting 2-0'd and 0-2'd.
Yeah. I think TD Harmony's been very consistent, too.
I don't think that they're a team that can pull out wins consistently. Maybe they're the most consistent out of that division, right? But I think even Monkeys Rising aside, I feel like there's so many teams you can argue, even in their wins, that the wins are either sloppy or super prolonged, like 40-minute games.
Yeah,
old drafts look like a roller coaster. Like I think it's hard to argue that a lot of these teams are consistent.
I will say, like, between like I would say third, like I think first through third is pretty solid in my head, but below that until like I would say maybe like 6th, 7th, like I don't really like I'm pretty sure 8th, 9th, 10th are gonna be like my top 3, my bottom 3 are right, and then like after that it's kind of like my top 3, RAR 1st, Clownfish 2nd, TDH 3rd.
I'd put TDH above them, but like I think it's close. Clownfish.
Yeah, it literally comes down to who wins that game on my rankings.
Yeah, I think it's also like a who shows up sort of thing. Like I think Clownfish actually should win that series, but then again, and I don't know if
they should have won the last series.
I'm gonna just say this to throw a wrench in here, right? Y'all do realize that Clownfish lost to Goon Squad Gaming Sigma, with Sigma having a silver AD carry, right?
Yeah, that's why Goon Squad Gaming Sigma is 4th on my rankings right now.
Okay.
Because when like if I'm applying the when they show up logic, when they show up, I think they're better than IG.
Right. So
yeah,
I'm guessing from this that 5 is Agni Kai.
9th is Agni, yeah, because they lost to Oasis.
9th is Agni Kai.
I think Agni Kai is another team. I guess another team that's inconsistent. Like they've had 2-0 wins that are clean, but they've also had just really sloppy series. So like it's hard to tell. And also they've had roster movements to their credit, you know. So like I get the inconsistency.
Yeah,
but they're a team that like you don't know what you're going to get each week. Like I think 99% of these teams. I personally think it's every team you don't know you're going to get each week, but you know.
Right, and given where we are in the season, right? We've got a few more weeks to go, but
but we're also halfway through the season, the regular season.
I also
you know,
And this is the time where a lot of these teams that are going to be on the upswing are going to start going up, and the teams that had the hot start, so to speak, and are running into roadblocks now are going to falter.
yeah,
I agree.
because Goon Squad's lost to Agni Kai was week 1, and then week 2 they played TD Harmony, and then week 3 they won, and then week 4 they won again. So like to me it just looks like they're on like an upswing, whereas like Clanfish 9 is like kind of stagnating, like because they were at the top, like winning so hard against like lesser teams. And then like Monkeys Rising also looks like they're on an upswing, because if you like look at who they played Goon Squad Gaming, they play on week 3, they played Clanfish 9, and they played TD Harmony. So it's like those are like either top teams or teams that were on like a very obvious upswing. The team that they beat is Oasis Fire, who's like relatively consistent.
Oasis Fire is like 8th or 9th.
Yeah,
I think
So,
that's
like, I could get with this with Oasis Fire being 9, and Agni Kai.
But Oasis Fire beat Agni Kai.
last week.
No, they beat them like 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
Yeah, this is where it gets difficult, right? It's so,
yeah, but it's not the same team.
So,
You know what I mean?
I think they both end 3-6, and I think that because Oasis Fire has the win over them, they get the tiebreaker, so they're 8th.
Fair point, actually. So looking down, like what happens at the end?
So I guess I'm more comfortable putting Pod 5 by this logic, IG 6, and Monkeys
I think
Rising
Pod
7.
Pod is still. I think Pod is still
that-
can't solidify a roster. I think you can't put them above.
So then
yeah.
I don't think
I
you can put them
still
above IG. I
so
don't think
then
you can put them above
so then
GSP.
IG goes up to 5, Monkeys Rising 6, and Pod 7.
I think Pod can beat Monkeys Rising.
So Pod 6, Monkeys Rising 7.
But then again, what pod's going to show up? It's the same circular argument.
Right.
Here, but
So I feel more comfortable about this. Okay. Just again,
I
because
trust
of
you
timing,
guys to go,
we have to
back
move
answer.
forward. Can we agree
Yes.
that given we're trying to do this in less than 20 minutes, okay? This is what we have right now.
go for it.
RAR number 1. Clownfish 9
all
number
of our
2.
opinions are here for people to.
TD Harmony number 3. Goon Squad Gaming Sigma number 4. Imperial Gaming number 5. Pod of Dolphins number 6. Monkeys Rising number 7. Oasis Fire number 8. Agni Kai number 9. Corvus Storm number 10.
Yeah, that's
Sure, close enough for me.
Close enough for me. Because I think where we're really going
Close
to get really
for me.
nitpicky is like, well, does this team go up one over the other team? Do we swap these two here for
down
this
there.
reason? And like that's where we're at. We're in the general ballpark. The way that I feel that we're talking about this is that in general we have the top 3 teams. There's not a hard barrier here, unlike some other divisions, right? Top 3 teams we're pretty confident on. Then we know that Goon Squad Gaming, we'll call it top 4. We know that the top 4 is there. Then we have the middle section of teams, and then we have the bottom section. Where those teams are in that
I
is
agree.
personal preference, right?
yeah. You don't like that RAR is first on my rankings, but RAR
we go
is
to 2?
good. But let's go to 2.
Let's go to 2. Okay.
Let's go to 2.
Let's go to 2.
You want more Rotsu's hot spicy takes, real fast?
You
What
gonna
is
put
it?
Ugly Gang number 1?
No. Ugly Gang is still 10th.
Okay.
Predator's still 9th.
Okay.
8th place GSGG.
Okay.
7th place Comfy. 6th place BDES.
Okay.
5th place New Wave.
Okay.
4th place Imperial. 3rd place Hyperion.
Okay.
2nd place Monkeys. 1st place Killer Whales.
I agree 100%. Actually,
You agree?
100% the whole way through.
I really don't have any complaints with this.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to go through and like we could share our points as to why we think that?
Absolutely. Like I have personally not been paying the absolute most attention to things. So like one of the questions that I have as being somebody more in a host, right, is what makes Hyperion 3?
BDES can't beat them, and BDES is the hardest thing left on their schedule, except for Imperial, and I don't think that Imperial has a good type of win condition to beat Hyperion.
Valid argument.
Yeah, I think Hyperion's like their diamond in the rough sort of deal. Like, I think the only thing that's going to stop these players from snagging third is themselves. Because I think they are good players, and I think they know how to play this game very well, and I think it's a great meta for them. And I think they're a sort of microcosm of like how my team likes to play. And I think like they just struggle with a bit of cohesion, but once that's cleaned up, I think that team's actually very good.
The last time that this team was a solid team was last summer, and they had a similar kind of vibe. They weren't really thought about. They weren't the cleanest team, but they kept raking in the wins, and they made it basically from going from quarterfinals all the way through grand finals and taking it all home, right? Like, it was a wonderful narrative story. So it's not like some of these players haven't done this before. You know what I mean? Like, this is something that they've done before. But the issue, I guess, with some of what you're talking about, with the lack of cohesion there, that ride can stop really abruptly.
Yeah. I think that them having, like...
I don't even think any, like meta cohesion. It's like, I think it's just interpersonal sort of cohesion.
Absolutely.
Like, they need to figure out who they're going to listen to, and, like, they need to trust each other. And when they play, especially we played them first week on stream, you could tell that they didn't trust each other.
Yep.
And I think the best teams are 5 guys who, even if they're not 5 best players for their respective role, who trust each other and will listen to calls, and they're just,
to use
win and die.
To use the kitchen example, everything works well when everybody's working towards the same goal, right? You got to get the food out. We all know our jobs to get the food out, right? Like, those are the top teams. Like, you can have, if we look at the other division, that's Monkeys Rising. Like, Monkeys Rising is hitting above their weight class considerably because they're doing that.
Yeah, I agree.
I gotta go out and say, like, Comfy Cartel has the best logo in this particular division.
Honestly, like, I like looking at it, I think Comfy versus VDE should be interesting.
I think so too. I think VDE got found out.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
not the hardest thing to figure out when your win condition is one player's success.
There's one player. And I know, we say it every week, but until you guys, I'm talking to you, BD, until you can show me that you don't have one win condition, I'm going to keep saying it.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, it works. You're going to be a decent team when you have that and are able to play that way. The problem is, especially in, like, this is even more so true in IBS than Gold, right? Like, the higher rank you get, the easier it is to pull off the singular carry composition.
Mm-hmm.
The lower rank you are, it's harder because you're putting all your eggs in one particular basket. And so if that basket falls over, right, your composition was around that one thing. So it's and it's on that one person to execute appropriately. And not trying to say that BDE is bad at that. They're very good at it, right? It's just
they are. That's why they found success early in the season.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm glad to see that New Wave is rising, right? Like,
yeah, me too. I think roster moves are really good looks for them. I'm proud of Righteous as a jungle main. I jump, especially because, like, mid is the fastest respawn wave lane, right? And you're going from jungle camp respawn timers to mid lane wave, spawn timing. It's a big shift, in my opinion, and I think he's handling it beautifully. I think he's playing really well. I think I realize now he's much more capable of a player than I previously had thought he was.
And it's from an admin perspective, roster swaps.
I think it's good looks for them.
Like, I really am anti-roster swap. I'm a big fan
Same.
of roster stability. However, if you're going to roll swap, in general, it is better to do it like this. We're going to make a small adjustment. We're going to change players in this small way at the very beginning of the season so that we can get it figured out. and get it figured out by playoffs. Those are the moves
100%
that tend to be way more successful. If you're constantly switching, I've never really seen it work. I've never come into a league and seen, the team that is constantly shuffling around players, trying to get upgrades here, trying to get upgrades there. I've never seen that team do well.
I think that's the exact reason why I fully anticipate when playoffs come around, the top seeds from Division 1, I think, are going to get pounded by the top seeds from Division 2.
I mean, it's hard for me, right? Like, I think that you could make an argument that Killer Whales and Literal Monkeys, I can say that for, but once we get to, like, third and fourth, I have a little harder time believing that.
Yeah, I can see both sides of the argument. Also, like, the difference between New Wave being fifth and New Wave being fourth is literally like them beating Comfy.
I mean, I think, yeah.
just wanted to point that out.
Yeah.
So we've actually agreed on this one a little more, which is nice.
What else? What have we been talking about?
Well,
in this division, where we have to go.
We haven't. I don't think there's really anything that we terribly missed overall that I.
Well, I mean, we didn't talk about top and bottom and why, right?
Well,
we've covered some of the middle.
We've covered some of the middle. So we want to do that. I was gonna say we can talk about today's matchups and then be like, hey, this is a 20-minute
loop
episode.
that in. We can loop that in.
Yeah.
Oh, you hear those birds? Wow.
Oh yeah.
Chirp, chirp.
Your phone microphone's actually doing pretty well.
That's amazing. Anyway.
Yeah, so let's see. I'm gonna go to side one.
I forgot all the matchups, but I'll be able
Okay,
to.
so Division 1. Division 1.
Agnikai and Corvus Storm is being streamed.
Yep.
2-0 Agnikai.
Yeah.
I think Agnikai wins as well, yeah.
Yeah.
TD Harmony, Pot of Dolphins. TD Harmony wins 2-1, because they always win 2-1.
If TD Harmony drops this, it makes things really interesting in Division 1. And we know that last week we had a lot of weird stuff that happened. So, like, TD Harmony needs to be on top of their stuff.
More weird stuff. Division 1 is let's get weird. That's their motto.
Weird champ. Monkeys Rising versus RAR. RAR wins, because RAR is going to win.
Right? I think it's a 2-1 now.
Yeah, I think most of their series are tier 1.
If Monkeys Rising takes a game off RAR, that's something that they should be really proud of.
I think they should. I think they have what it takes for sure. I think Roar wins, but they win by an inch, not a mile.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
You know,
they figure out how to beat you in game, and then they like keep exploiting it.
Yeah. Goon Squad Gaming Sigma versus Oasis Fire.
Goon Squad.
2-0, 2-1.
Yes.
2-0. 2-0, yeah.
For me.
I mean, I'm in agreement there. Sigma is really looking back in a return to form. Imperial Gaming versus Clownfish Knight.
They're looking really good, and I think that's good.
2-0 I think 2-0 CF1.
2-1 IG for me.
Ooh, spicy.
I'm just going to go out on a limb and just to be disagreeing and say 2-0 IG.
Okay.
So that's the matchup. That's the matchup for Division 1. Division 2.
New Wave versus Predators.
New Wave 2-0.
Yeah, New Wave 2-0.
Literal Monkeys versus Hyperion. Literal Monkeys.
Wait, I missed
2-0.
it.
Oh,
the first one.
New Wave versus Nameless.
New Wave 2-0.
Yeah. We are in agreement there. Literal Monkeys versus Hyperion. Literal Monkeys 2-0.
Hyperion.
The possibility of a 2-1 if Hyperion does what I just said.
Hyperion 2-1.
Ooh, I love it.
Ooh, that's spicy. Then the other stream game, Ugly Gang versus BDE Sapphire.
2-0 BDE Sapphire.
Yep.
Yeah, 2-0 BDE.
Comfy Cartel versus Imperial Paradox. The winner of this is obviously the Blanket.
Imperial 2-1.
2-1. I think Feathers is gonna be Feathers twice and then Feathers once. Is what's gonna happen. Feathers, prove me right. Feather.
Goon Squad Gaming Gamma versus Killer Whales.
Killer Whales
2-0.
Yep.
We all 2-0.
This
we have
was
3 subs today.
This was a lot of fun. I want to argue a heck of a lot more next week, right? But like, given Hawaii,
I'll be home.
given Hawaii, given the fact that I'm leaving in a few hours, right? Like, getting this all done in 30 minutes. We got it done in a nice 30-minute package. Hope you enjoyed this week's Power Rankings. Well, this has been us at Yet to Be Named, the officially named Gold Pre-Show. Y'all have a wonderful week.